What did you see Boba Fett? Book of Boba Fett? Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
What did you think?
I mean, I like the Mandalorian, and so I was kind of like, okay, but I wasn't really a big fan of Boba Fett. It was kind of a chore to watch. And then when it stopped being about Boba Fett and was about the Mandalorian, I was interested again, but I was like, how do you have a show about Boba Fett and then like take him out the last couple episodes?
I know that was a weird
switch lead characters. I thought it was kind of bizarre, but whatever.
And it wasn't like it was an episode including the Mandalorian. They were Mandalorian episodes.
They were
like through and through, full on Mandalorian episodes. And I was just like, that was a mistake.
How do you feel about the Luke Skywalker of it all?
I thought that was amazing. I thought it was
I
amazing.
agree. I mean, it looks great. I didn't bump up on he looks fake or he sounds flat. I didn't bump up on those things. My only criticism, I guess, is like you're really tying yourself to needing that Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. I think they did so much of him because they plan on not having him anymore, right? There's that aspect of it where people are like, "Oh, I can't wait for like a big fight scene." I'm like, I don't think there's gonna be a big fight scene. Like they had a lot of shots, a lot of character development, and I think that at the end of the one episode where it was like
spoilers,
the lightsaber or the chainmail, that was it. Like if he chose a chainmail, that's it. We're not going to see Luke anymore. You know. Although I thought it was really funny because there again is only a Sith deals in absolutes. Yeah. So it's either the lightsaber or the chainmail, and it's just I was like, oops.
The thing with Luke in these things is that like I'm always excited. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Luke Skywalker. I'm seeing Luke Skywalker. Like the sort of the fan part of me is like that, but I feel like the more critical part of me is like, but is this really wise? I feel like they'd be better off just moving forward and not trying to like CGI in the past, but I don't know.
I wonder what Mark Hamill thinks about it, right? Because like when I saw it, I was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like he's dead.
Yeah,
but he's still alive. Like
because
we have Princess Leia CGI'd, but Carrie Fisher's gone. So it's just
although she wasn't in Rogue One, Carrie Fisher was still alive when.
That's right, Rogue
when
One.
Leia shows up in Rogue One. Yeah, but I guess I also would have preferred a more. I would have preferred Mark Hamill's real voice, I guess. Even if he sounds a little scruffier than he did then.
He sounded pretty good. I wasn't about to. I just was still amazed at how well they did his face. Like he looked like post Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker.
He did, and when you think about the fact that the voice was just computer synthesized sounds, like it was just
scary, right?
It really is.
Pretty soon we won't even have to do this podcast; it'll just do it for us.
Yeah, there's plenty of our voices. Yeah, go ahead. I'm talking right into a microphone.
Computer's just gonna watch the episode for us and talk. Welcome to This Endorian Life, a Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Stephen Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we're following the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi to the Ewok TV movies, the 80s cartoon, and beyond.
And beyond. So today, yes, we are discussing the Season 1 finale, Episode 13, Asha, which originally aired November 30th, 1985.
That's right. Yes. This episode was written by Paul Dini and directed by Raymond J. Felice. I looked ahead, and this is the last episode directed by Raymond J. Felice.
J. Felice or Day Felice?
Yeah, right? On IMDb, it's a J.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's got to be a typo.
No. Well, see, I early on, I think we said Day Felice because it says that somewhere, but both IMDb and the end credits do have it with a J.
Wow.
I know. It's weird. This is the last episode he directs, but he stays on. He's at least credited as a storyboard editor and storyboard director for the new wave of episodes. We were kind of discussing this last time, but in a lot of ways, this is really a series finale.
Yeah, it is.
And we pick up the same characters with different voices on a very different show for season 2, the new Ewoks. So I was kind of, as we were watching this, in my head, I was kind of like, this is really the last episode here. The final time we'll hear that Taj Mahal theme.
Yep.
I got to tell you, we went to see Licorice Pizza for Valentine's Day. Great soundtrack to that movie. And there is a Taj Mahal song in it. Tomorrow May Not Be Your Day is in there.
No way.
Yeah. We're like scrolling through the credits, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was. So I never had heard the name Taj Mahal before we started this, and now I see him everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's like when you buy a new car.
Yeah.
You just see that car everywhere now.
You see him every place. Yes. Yep. Today's episode, Asha, was released on VHS as part of the compilation Wicket the Hero.
Yes.
It was also part of the DVD compilation Tales of the Endor Woods. This is the final episode of the series that was released on DVD. None of the season 2 or the new Ewoks episodes were ever released on DVD, though they did get VHS releases. So last time you're going to get an episode on DVD. I thought maybe since this is the final time, I'm just going to run through the full cast list.
Yeah.
And it's interesting
because it's going to change. Yeah.
This cast is credited in every episode, even though most of the characters don't appear in every episode. Right. So here's what we got. Jim Henshaw as Wicket, Cree Summer as Kneesa, Jackie Burrows as Morag, George Booza as Chief Chirpa, Doug Chamberlain as Logray, Paul Chatto as Paplu, Allison Court as Milani, Don Franks as the Dulak Shaman, Pam Hyatt as Aunt Bozzy, Eric Peterson as Tebow, Greg Swanson as Ouija, Richard Donut as Deej, and Nani Griffin as Shadu. I don't think any of these voice actors come back in any capacity in the second season.
No,
we'll keep an eye out for it. But yeah, crazy. I don't think the problem with this show was the voice cast.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, everyone sounds great.
I guess I don't love Jim Henshaw as Wicket. Like, it's not bad, but it also doesn't do anything for me. It's not really distinctive. I don't know. I'm interested to see, what season 2 brings. Our featured cast member for this time is Tabitha St. Germain, originally credited as Paulina Gillis. She voices Asha in this episode. What's interesting, this is her first credited role, and she has a voice acting career that is going strong as of our time of recording in 2022.
Really?
Yes. This was the first thing she did, but it just kept going and going and going.
I'm guessing she's in Care Bears.
She was in the original Care Bears, and she's continued to go on and voice more prominent roles like Cheer Bear in later versions of Care Bears.
Oh, man.
She's Luna and Rarity in My Little Pony. I noticed she has an X-Men credit. So for our past guest, Hillary, she voiced Danny Moonstar, who's really more of one of the New Mutants than an X-Men, but she did an episode of X-Men Evolution. And finally, elsewhere in the Star Wars universe, she voices Yoda's Padawan Bene in the Yoda Chronicles, which is a Lego series. Pretty fun. My son's a fan of that. She also voices a young Lando Calrissian in that same series.
Lando Calrissian.
And seriously, from 1985 or whatever this was to today, she has been a consistent powerhouse in the voice acting world.
That's awesome. You love to hear it. Even like Cree Summer. I mean, we've talked about Cree Summer all the time. Yeah. She comes up all the time.
Yep, lots really of prominent voice actors here.
All right, well, let's head into the uber detailed plot.
I'm ready.
Of the final season of this cast.
Yeah.
And how the song start? Oh man. I bought that album.
Is it Foreigner?
Europe.
The final cast? It's Europe.
I bought that album in Japan for 500 yen. It was awesome. Yes, like $5 at a
CD
record.
CD
vinyl.
or vinyl? Yeah,
vinyl.
That's the way to go.
I was like, "Yo, this is the album," and it had like the Japanese writing on it. So I was like, "This is awesome."
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. All right. Wicket, Paplu, and Tebow are enjoying themselves on a glider camping trip a day's flight away from the village when they begin
I love
to
me
hear
some gliders.
That's right. Yeah, when they begin to hear shouting coming from an initially peaceful forest. They investigate to find a horde of Dulaks hunting an innocent Maramu, which to our eyes looks like a kangaroo mated with a mountain goat.
I think that's exactly what happened.
That's and it's called a Maramu. So so we know their name's already prepared.
Yeah.
Before the Dulaks can kill their prey, a lone phantom, Red Ghost, they're called, Ewok, appears on a treetop and scares the band of Dulaks away. Not knowing why the Dulaks fled, Wicket and his friends move in to free the Maramu. Suddenly, they too are surprised by the red Ewok. It approaches them aggressively until it realizes they are freeing the Maramu. After calling into the forest, a wild Karina appears, and the red Ewok mounts it and rides off. The Ewoks themselves grab their gliders and fly home. Paplu captivates the Woklings with the story of their adventure. When Wicket describes the red Ewok, Kneesa begins to weep, running away to her hut. Wicket and a Ewokling follow her, and she tells them the story of her sister Asha, who was separated from her when a wild Hanadak attacked them in the forest. Her mother died, saving them, but they never recovered her sister Asha, except for a torn piece of her cloak. That night, Chief Chirpa, Kneesa's father, calms her, telling her she must be mistaken about this red Ewok because they are very rare. Mm-hmm. Unconvinced, Kneesa sneaks out, convincing Wicket to join her. I have unconvinced and convinced in the same sentence.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Writers everywhere are just fainting.
You lost some points there. You lost some points for sure.
Oh, man. Their journey becomes perilous when they are caught in a fierce winter storm. When Wicket falls, he is caught by a fellow Ewok, none other than Chukka-Trok. You remember him?
No, I didn't. Have we seen Chukka-Trok before?
He's from Caravan of Courage. He's the dude with the axe. Remember Chukka-Trok? Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's the guy. Yeah, it's Chukka-Trok.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He tries to bring them back when a screeching frightens their mount, Rachna, and it flees into the forest.
Yeah.
The screeching is coming from a group of coits, vicious-looking little foxes. Chukka believes he scares them away, but the coits run away in fear of the red Ewok standing behind him menacingly.
Yeah.
Kneesa and Asha reunite after years and years. We find out that this red Ewok happens to be her sister. Interesting. That night, Wicket, Kneesa, and Chukka spend the night in Asha's camp. Asha tells Kneesa the story of how she was separated from Kneesa and Mother when they were attacked all those years ago. Asha doesn't speak well, giving away the fact that she's been alone all since she was separated. Kneesa wants her to come home, but Asha dismisses her request because every season she fights against the Dulocs by sabotaging their traps and hunts. The next morning, Wicket and Kneesa wake up to find Asha and Chukka are gone. Nearby, they are stalking a Duloc hunting band led by Gornish. This hunting band has caught another Maramu. The Maramu is difficult to control, so the shaman attempts to use magic dust on it, but it backfires on himself and Gornish, causing them both to sneeze uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Asha walks directly through the Duloc camp and frees all the animals while the Dulocs stand there stunned in amazement. Snapping out of their amazement, they capture her. Chukka-Trok attempts to help her, but falls into a Duloc trap. No matter, because Asha is able to overpower her Duloc captors and free herself. The rest of the Dulocs fumble again and again as they try and fight. Wicket and Kneesa ride in on a Corina, scaring the hunting band away, leaving Gornish and the shaman behind. The Corina is that's what she mounted at the very beginning, and
it's
like a saber-toothed tiger without the teeth. Yeah, it's like a striped dog wolf thing, yeah. It's orange. Yeah. Asha commands the Dulocs to leave and never hunt in these woods again. Gornish is obstinate, but is run off by Asha's pack of Corinas. Defeated, the Dulocs fly off a cliff and land in a freezing cold lake. Everyone returns back to the Ewok village. Asha and Chief Chirpa tearfully unite when Kneesa brings her home. Watching from outside the hut, Chukka and Wicket begin to well up themselves, though Chukka blames it on a snowflake getting in his eye. Wicket agrees, and they walk off, letting their friends have their family reunion alone. Roll credits.
Pretty strong episode to go out on.
Yeah, this one was this one was good. I was watching it and I thought, is this like my new favorite episode? But
I had the same thought.
Yeah, but there was an episode I remember, like maybe 4th or 5th or something like that we both really liked. I can't remember. I can't remember which one it was. But I was just like, man, this is a good. I thought that was a great episode. This was like on par with that. This was a really good episode, I thought.
I guess now that you've jogged my memory about Chukka-Trok, I'm pretty sure he dies in that movie.
He does. He dies at the end of Caravan of Courage.
So is this like, is the series before?
Oh, I feel like we talked about that the series has to be after, right?
Trying to like, because his Rena is also in it, and I feel like it was like a reference to the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. We shouldn't get bogged down.
We shouldn't, because we're just gonna.
Makes no sense.
We're gonna have like a does not compute in our brains. Are gonna start.
It doesn't
smoking.
Make a drop of sense.
Yeah.
But I had the same as I'm watching this and like taking notes. I was more engaged than I tend to be in some of these episodes. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good all around. Obviously, I'm thrilled to see the gliders again.
Yeah, I knew you would.
That was a big start on this podcast because we had gliders in Return of the Jedi, both of the TV movies in the first couple episodes, and we haven't seen a glider since.
I know,
so
and we love them, and the kids love them. Like they're fun.
They're crowd pleasers.
Yeah,
they're absolute crowd.
They're bookended. They bookended it with this season.
The Kneesa Asha plot was intense.
Yeah,
I honestly thought it went darker than I thought when it was like the mom was killed and the daughter was just like MIA. I was like, that's kind of a dark thread to put in here, you know?
Yeah, that she died. I mean, why couldn't she be alive? That's what's strange to me too. Like that's what they chose. Like, really, that's what you chose? You know?
I mean, it landed. It made it a little bit more like it was just unusual because we don't usually go for that kind of depth on the show.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by that, but I thought it was weird. When Chief Sherpa's putting Kneesa to bed, she's not wearing like the headgear or anything.
Yeah,
and she looked so weird. She just looked like a little, just like putting a little raccoon
like
in
a little,
bed.
Yeah, I thought it's a little naked Ewok, and it was so creepy. All like looking at your grandma without makeup on. You're like, you know.
It was creepy. It was it was unsettling in a way I didn't think it would be. But no, I liked the little adventure. I liked the focus on Wicket and Kneesa.
Yeah.
I don't think from like a production standpoint wise, they make such a big deal about how unusual her fur color is, but she's really not that different from other people that we've seen. Like Paplu, for example, like several other of them have that sort of dark, like auburny color. So
yeah.
I don't know. Not that I wanted her to be like, Ronald McDonald Red or something, but like they made such a big deal about it, and her appearance to me didn't stand out at all.
Yeah,
so.
most of them are like what? Like brown and like tan and gray and black. Yeah, browns and tans and grays.
Yeah, and so I feel like hers needed to be just like a different color palette totally.
They should have done that.
It just wasn't. So I would have liked her look to stand out a little more. I didn't really like her Tarzan talk that much. I mean, I guess you have to do it, but we saw little baby Kneesa. That was cute.
Yeah, we saw baby Kneesa. Yeah, a little.
And we saw the mom just briefly. She did have some dialogue, right? Yeah, she had some dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has a wild backstory. It's funny. No one has
like having like the reunite when she reunites with Chief Sherpa in the end. I thought it was a little moving.
Yeah, I thought it was
the
too.
Way they're like, oh my goodness,
Oh my, and she's like, Father, as best as she can, and it's like, okay.
See, if we would have had Hillary on this episode, she might have been able to get through it.
Right. Yeah.
But we had her on that other terrible one, and no, I was pretty happy overall. I think this, I really do. I feel like maybe we've been on kind of a streak of saying like, yes, this is representative of what the Ewoks cartoon is.
Yeah.
This is the first one in a while I would say I think is actually good.
It's good because right. It again, I feel like I'm repeating myself. This deja vu with that one really good episode, which I can't remember. Maybe one of our listeners remembers which one we talked up, but I do remember saying that episode was good, and this episode is good because we have new creatures that are introduced. There's a wide variety. Even that little stone that Wicket steps on at the very beginning is like, it's a little like frog type thing or toad, right? There's new creatures. There's new characters, in their camp, like the little walklings. So we get more walklings. There's tie-ins to the movies because we got Chuka Chalk, and the story itself is compelling. Like, I wanted her to go back, but I was just like, oh man, when she's like, no, I must stay. I was like, oh, she might actually stay. So like, she knows her sister's alive, but she's never going to be able to, she's not going to come back and live with them. She's just going to be alone in the forest still. So there's going to be like that. Okay, great. It's that like good story of like, oh, like at least she knows she's alive, but she just can't ever be with her,
Right.
So
yeah.
I thought it was compelling. It's good. It's a compelling story. This one was really good.
I agree. So let's stick with the good for a minute then. What is your Ichiwawa moment?
I think my Ichiwawa moment was Chuka Chalk when Wicket got caught out of the air, and he's like, Chuka Chalk, thanks. And it's just like, and then he's like, and I thought, oh, he did say, like, I was about ready for him to be like, oh yeah, come back to my own hut, right? Because Chuka Chalk in the Caravan of Courage kind of lives on his own in the forest because he's a warrior. He just chills out his own.
He has his own thing. Yeah.
But he was like, come on, we're going back to the village. So it was just like, all right, he's just gonna, he's not gonna bring him to his hut he's just going to bring them back to the village because he knows that's where they should be. But I like how he had his mind of like, no, you're little walklings. You shouldn't be doing this. And I thought, he has no idea. They do it all the time.
They make a living. That's what they do.
They literally saved Endor by walking away. Yeah.
Speaking of running into people in the woods, I feel like Asha had this little like family of little like squirrel dogs and things.
Yeah.
She made no attempt to invite them back to the village. she was just like, "Hey, thanks for raising your girl for the last 10 years."
I think it was the
going
Karina
back to sleep
pups.
In a bed.
No, don't you think it was the Karina pups?
I do, but I mean, she had this little network and she was just like, "Peace out, I'm
Yeah.
gone."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. For me, I mean, of course, my Ichiwama moment is the reintroduction of the gliders. I mean, I've been waiting.
Yep.
I've been waiting.
I saw him sitting there. And then I was just like, "Oh, those were gliders," I saw them there, and then they were like, "Yep, we're just hanging out one glider trip day away," and I was just like, "Oh yes, we got the." I was just like, Nick's so happy right now, and they do use them.
They do, They play an integral role. My Okavark moment. This is a first because he actually says Okavark during my Okavark moment.
Oh, really?
That's when he turns and looks directly at the camera, and he was like, "Oh, Kavark, I can't let her go alone."
Yeah.
And then I hated the breaking the fourth wall. I just found that annoying.
Yeah,
So that's my
so
Kavark. What about you?
Mine was this is me just picking apart the episode now.
Okay.
Going, it's been all this time that they've been separated, yet Asha was only one glider day trip away from
and
village.
Had a regular relationship with Chukatrak, who definitely knows where the rest of the village is.
Like this never came up, like ever. The chief of the chief's daughter of the tribe,
daughter.
which is also a rare colored Ewok. That never came up. Hey, it's Chukatrak. I just happened to see a red Ewok, in the forest.
I know. But also, like you said earlier, when he sees Wicket, he's like, "You walklings shouldn't be out here." He never had that thought with Asha, apparently. He was just like, "Yeah, go live with those creatures."
Yeah.
I'm going to head into the village. Let me know if you need any groceries.
I'm going to totally forget that I saw you.
Crazy.
That for me was like... I mean, like maybe if they had said like she was migrating through the area or something, so she just happened to be there at that moment.
That's true. Honestly, though, I mean, I think that's a complaint that I can overlook. You know what I mean? That's not like that ruined the episode. It's just sort of like logically, you have to kind of wonder why these conversations were taking place. But I would put this high up there with some of my favorites.
Oh yeah. What do you think you would rate this one
for first season Ewoks on that scale? I would maybe give it the full 5 because I think, because like you said, you have adventure, you have a plot that makes sense, you have a good use of characters, you have connections to the movie. I think it just kind of checks all the boxes of the things that I want the series to be. Yeah. So I think using the scale of the episodes we've seen, I would put this right up at the top. What
okay. Mine's like 4.5 or I don't know. I would say like 4.5, 4.75, whatever I said that other episode that I really liked. Probably 4.5.
We got to get to the bottom of
it. Because I reserve 5 for like if I was, I ended the episode and I was just like, man, that was really good.
If a fully CGI Luke Skywalker appeared at the end of this episode, it saved them. Maybe then. You're so basic.
Am I that predictable? No. Yeah. I mean, 4.5. Yeah, it's okay. It's 0.5 short of 5, but like for me, that's pretty good. I feel like that's the most, some of the most I've given, if not equally as high. Whatever that one was, I should have kept track of all of them. I feel like I should have been writing that down, and I haven't. I'm a bad podcaster.
I guess so. It's just been such a ride. I mean, if we can kind of reflect on the season for a minute here, it's like you have those Morag episodes, which are fine on their own, but just don't fit with the rest of the series, really.
Yeah.
I think probably the Jindas and the Guppins, like the Guppins I was okay with, but the Jindas in particular, I hated those episodes.
I think they should have, kind of looking at the whole season, now that we've seen it all, and we've seen it all mixed up, I think it just would have been better if they started with Morag, and then those 4 episodes, then did the Jindas, or did sporadically the what is it, Wicket what are his episodes called? I can't remember. Like Wicket the hero or something like that.
In the compilation?
Yeah, the compilation. If they just kind of sporadically put those in, like maybe 2 of those episodes, because they don't really have anything to do with each other. They just focus on Wicket, right?
Yeah.
And then,
well, that's why I think your point about the compilations is exactly right. It's like when you look at the Haunted Village compilation, it's just the Morak stuff. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
When you look at Tales from Endor Woods, it's Wicket's wagon, it's traveling Jindas, it's To Save Deej, it's Asha, and it's a little bit more like thematically those make sense together. And so if we had like little arcs within the series of like all these kind of episodes, but it's like they're just sort of reinventing what the series is every time.
Yeah.
Looking back on the season, and I feel like, this changes, and maybe I was not as kind to these episodes when we were talking about them. But I feel like To Save Deej is right up there. I feel like the Tree of Light, where they're all like going to restore the Tree of Light, was cool. Like that's an interesting one. But sometimes it is all about the order that you see them in, because we have a lot of repetition.
It really is.
So To Save Deej, Tree of Light, even Wicket's Wagon, which is a little goofy with the ghost coming back.
Right. I thought that. Yeah,
Asha,
we both thought that one was pretty good.
Like I would put those on my top, and I would put the Jindas right on the very bottom, and the Flogs, like the Rampage of the Flogs. I didn't like that one either with the diapers.
Because those are characters that don't have dialogue. They're kind of
just
and it's like,
but
all right.
Then when you kind of come back and in the one that Hillary was on with us, where you have the Flog who falls in love with Wicket, then it's kind of like, okay, you're developing that a little bit, like what the Flogs mean to the society. But it's just like, there's just not really a guiding light here. It's just like every episode is just throwing it on the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep.
I know you've got a little bit of experience with the all new Ewoks. Season 2, but I don't really think that I've seen any of it.
I
my memories
forgot
are
to
of these
stop.
Compilations. So
I forgot to stop this episode this time, and it rolled right into season 2, episode 1, and I was just like, what? I forgot about the song, and I was just like, oh, dude, you wait, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I shouldn't knock it yet. I should knock it when we actually do it, because I know you're gonna agree. I don't think you're gonna. I see what they were trying to do, but I think they tried too hard and ruined their theme song.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell.
This is true.
In the meantime, before we move on, we'd love to hear from you. If you out there have some favorite episodes from season 1, what you like the best, what you like the least, let us know. You can always find us on Facebook or Twitter at Endorian Life, and we'd love to hear what you think about this season 1.
Tell us.
Before we dive into season 2, though, we're going to take a little meandering into the world of the Star Wars comic books. We're going to be reading Star Wars Ewoks Shadows of Endor by Zach Gialongo. So this is set right before Return of the Jedi, but incorporates a lot of things from the Ewok movies and the series in particular. So I'm looking forward to see how they kind of blend these two very different takes on the Ewoks. So read along with us, and we'll be talking about that in the next episode. And then, of course, we'll be moving on to season 2 with episode 1A, The Crystal Cloak.
The Crystal Cloak.
I'm excited
to it. Yeah.
I'm excited about everything we have coming up. All right, my friend, let's get to reading, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. This Endorian Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. You can find more about this show and others like it at our network's website, radiomeanwhile.com. Share your thoughts on this and upcoming episodes by following us on Facebook or Twitter at Endorian Life. And please rate, subscribe, and share this show wherever you get your podcasts.